We know that kids need to move more, but it can often feel like, well, how are they going to move enough in the midst of their busy day where they have so much to learn and so many tests to take and all those sorts of things? And then after school, we got to get them from this to this to this. And doesn't that count as movement for them? And why are they having such difficulty with attention and focus and behaviors and all those sorts of things? It can often be a thing where in schools they will actually take away recess as a punishment for misbehavior, often because they're having trouble with attention. It's complete BS, and I always tell parents, if your school is threatening that, they need to call me, like me directly, and talk to me about it, because I'm going to tell them that the worst thing that you can do for a child, it, in my opinion, is cruel and unusual punishment, is to take away recess. And the reason for that is because not just they need to get their wiggles out and they need to move and socialize and those sorts of things. At the biochemical level, at the neurotransmitter level, there are specific reasons that movement helps with attention and focus and decision making. And so that's what I want to talk through today, so that you have a little bit more understanding of like why it's important to move and why we should prioritize that and go above and beyond just, the 15 minutes at school and then maybe PE, or maybe like running them around town to go to soccer practice or taekwondo or whatever it might be, that we focus on movement throughout the day to help with attention and focus. And so I want to kind of zoom in on a couple of neurotransmitters that you've probably heard of, but you might not know exactly how they can be affected by movement and what it does for your child when they're allowed to move the way that they need to. Now, the first one is dopamine, and we've heard lots about dopamine, and we've read books about it or heard podcasts about dopamine and all those sorts of things. Recently, it's like the hot molecule right now is talking about dopamine, because dopamine is really responsible for motivation. It's responsible for attention. It's responsible for reward processing. This is a neurotransmitter that says, this matters, stay focused on it. What happens when we exercise is it increases dopamine release, and it increases dopamine sensitivity, the receptor sensitivity, so that the dopamine that's released acts even more strongly than it otherwise would. And so if you're saying to your child, I need you to focus more, you're going to want to get them more dopamine, because that helps with that this matters, this is important. And one way to do that is through exercise and movement. ADHD in particular often lowers available dopamine and dopamine activity and dopamine sensitivity. Exercise helps to increase the amount of dopamine available and make those neurotransmitters more effective by making the receptors more sensitive. It increases sensitivity in areas like the prefrontal cortex and the striatum, which are both crucial for focus and executive function. So regular movement on a regular basis throughout the day increases the effect that dopamine has, and it gets them more dopamine so that they can move and then they can focus, and they can move and then they can focus. And that's how dopamine in particular works to increase attention and focus. The second one is norepinephrine. Now, norepinephrine sounds a lot, and it's a cousin of epinephrine, like adrenaline, that we get when we're nervous or excited. One thing that norepinephrine actually does is it improves alertness. It's like the brain's natural caffeine, I guess you could think of it as. It sharpens alertness, it boosts working memory so that they're thinking and remembering, and they're able to keep going when they're doing a task and stay alert and stay focused. And it can improve reaction time. When we exercise on a regular basis, when our child moves on a regular basis, more norepinephrine is produced and available in the brain so that we can have more periods of alertness, improve reaction time. They've done all sorts of studies that show movement, reaction time is way improved. Movement, we're more alert. We're able to focus for longer periods of time. We're able to do better work, and we're able to use our working memory better so that we can remember those things that we have going on that are in process. And then the third neurotransmitter to make sure and talk about when it comes to movement and exercise is serotonin. Now, we think of serotonin as like the calming down molecule, or the one that's involved in depression, anxiety, those sorts of things. Serotonin helps with mood regulation. It helps with impulse control. It helps with emotional steadiness. And exercise, especially when it's like rhythmic exercise, I'm thinking about walking or biking or swimming or something along those lines, rhythmic, repetitive movements increases serotonin synthesis and transport. And what that does is it helps balance out the excitedness that comes with dopamine and norepinephrine so that we have a smooth, calm, regulated state. So when we're thinking about movement, it's not just that they need to get their wiggles out. It's not just that they need to blow off some steam or move their body or those sorts of things. It actually, at the neurotransmitter level, our brain is designed for movement to help with attention and focus. So next time you're wondering or thinking, I'll just skip that, or my child just can't focus and we just have to buckle down and, grin and bear it, or really just like focus in. No, get your child up, get them moving for 10 to 15 minutes, get them some exercise, get them on a trampoline, get them to go for a short walk, have them come back and watch their alertness, watch their working memory, watch their ability to focus and stay alert on their homework or whatever you're trying to do soar, and then you'll be convinced. You'll know, okay, this actually does work and it makes a difference for my child, and it probably makes a difference for myself too, to get some movement into the day when I'm often on my screen or doing work or those sorts of things. Getting some movement actually helps me to feel more calm and to feel more focused.